think it's important to have a workstation that makes you want to actually work, a place that, inspires you and motivates you. I've gone through many iterations of setups in the past few years, but I think I finally nailed it. It's something simple, but for me has everything that I need. But here is what I did to get what I think is the best and most effective setup without breaking the bank. One thing I realized early on is I can't work with a small desk. I just feel cramped. I tried a small setup when I first moved here, but it just didn't work. So I've settled on this. This desk is 100% IKEA and 100% cheap, in the grand scheme of things at least. Okay, so let's get into what's making up the desk. The tabletop is called Linman. It goes for around $46 for the 78-inch version, which I have, and this allows for the dual stations, my favorite part of the desk, and I'll talk about that more in a second. Holding that up is two legs, which are $4 a piece, super cheap here, and on the other side is a $15 stand, which I actually already had for my previous setup, but still not that expensive. In the middle, I think, is the most crucial piece, and that's the Alex drawer unit, which is also an essential for any setup involving IKEA, and it goes for $80. And that's really the entirety of what's making up the desk. I also have these replica Herman Miller chairs. They were like $50 a piece when I got them. I love the look, they're clean, and they're way cheaper than the real deal. So with that, the entire desk and the chairs, that's coming at $250. Now obviously that's not free, but compared to some other options out there and for the size and for the functionality, I'm very happy with how much this cost me. Okay, so what the desk is actually made of is one thing, but what's on it is also very important. My favorite part of this is the dual stations. I did this because I had an iMac, which I wanted to keep, but I mainly used my MacBook Pro to actually do work. First world problem, yes, but I wanted to have a place for both of them to be set up at the same time. So on one side, I have the iMac. This is an old 2013 version, which is pre-5K, but it still works well enough. My keyboard here is the Logitech K780. I did a full review on this, which is linked above, so check that out. And also, if you want to pick up anything else that I talk about here, be sure to check out the link down in the description. I like this keyboard because it's very easy to switch between multiple devices, and it has a stand built in so I can put my phone or my iPad here and it works out well. As for the mouse, I'm using the Logitech MX Master, no surprise there, pretty much a YouTube standard. And that is sitting on an aluminum mouse pad, which I think looks sweet. So on the other side is the MacBook Setup. This is my 2016 fully maxed out MacBook Pro, and I like it, I don't love it. I've had some issues, one of my speaker blew out, and I'm having the keyboard issue that everyone seems to have had. But it's light, it's powerful, and it's my main machine for doing pretty much everything these days. And even though it's not perfect, it does get the job done, I have to say. I have a camo skin on it. This is actually the longest I've ever kept a skin on my device. I really love this one. Also, thanks to Brandon Havard for that play button idea. Totally ripped that off from you. I usually set this on a felt pad. I don't know why, this might sound kind of funny, but this is one of my favorite things about my setup. I absolutely love this part. I think it just adds a little touch. Now in the middle, I have a wireless charging pad. Most phones I use these days use wireless charging, and this one I think looks the best out of any that I've seen. And next to that is a little storage container. This is called a bento box. It's stackable and gives me space for all my little knickknacks I use, like SD cards, my SSD, cables, all that sits in here. The rest of the storage is for a bunch of different stuff, and it starts very organized and progressively gets worse as you go down. The top is for things I used almost daily: notebooks, a knife, different phones, pens, all very organized here. The rest of them though are for like cables, camera equipment, lots of, honestly junk, but stuff that I actually do use, just not every day, so I keep them here. So that's pretty much the whole desk, but I like looking across the room at it and kind of having the whole area set up as well. So to the left of that is where I hang my backpack that I use every day. Also made a video on this, so be sure to check that out. And hanging above that is my boosted board V2. Honestly, I don't ride this nearly enough and not as much as I used to, but storing it here keeps it out of the way, and it's easy to access if I ever need to. And then on the right, I have a plant and then the banana lamp. This is from Urban Outfitters. It's not actually a neon sign, it's just an LED, but I think it looks cool. That's pretty much it though. The setup is evolving in small ways, but I think I finally nailed a budget option that fits all of my needs, and I've certainly spent way more on desks in the past. And there's ways to even save more if you wanted to. So you can get different chairs. If you don't want the drawer unit, you can get rid of that altogether. You can get a smaller desk if you don't want the dual stations. A lot of different options that you can still get at IKEA and save even more. I hope you enjoyed this video and thanks for watching. Also, let me know if you want to see other setups that I have. Leave that down below in the comments. Again, my name is Matt and I'll see you next week in the next video. See ya.